back to another episode of I Got Big Balls. Pause.
Pause.
I got big balls. Hey, 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 hey. I got big balls. Hey, 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 hey. I got big balls. Hold up one time, do it. Hold up one time, big balls. Hold up one time, do it. Hold up one time.
Hey, once again, it's on. It's your boy E1 Don signing on. Salute. That's E the number one DON on all social media, except for Twitter. My Twitter joint got hacked. We're gonna have to talk about that. I don't know what's going on on Twitter. I might have to start it over, or they're gonna have to give me back mine. Anyway, move right along.
I know what you was doing on Twitter.
Nah, that ain't even my account. That ain't even my account for the dark Twitter. We're not even about to get into
OnlyFans.
It's okay. It's all right.
Nah, we're not gonna get into that right now. And of course, the show's brought to you by CrunchTimeMedia.net for all your photo, video, merchandise needs. You know what I mean? Log in, check in with us. And we're also live. We have Live Hip Hop Daily. A lot of great programming. Make sure you guys download the app, go to the website. This is one of them. I got Big Balls. Pause. We got more cereal, we got more guests, we got more polls. Pause. Let me introduce my co-host, or let him introduce himself. Got Danny Digital in the building.
What's going on? It's your boy Danny Digital. I want you to follow me on all social platforms at Danny Digital. That's DANNYDIGITALL. Check out some of the photography and video work I got there for you guys.
And we got London returning back, you know what I mean? She came back. This ain't even like before we record 2 episodes in one day. She actually came back.
I came back. Fit and everything.
See how spicy she was in the last one?
Run down your social media.
You can follow me on all social platforms, London Level Up. And that's about it.
London Bridges. I keep leaving out the Bridges, my bad. London Bridges. That's, you know, make sure I'm gonna get that right before it's all said and done. We got a real special guest in the building. We got Joy Stokes from, you know, how's he pronounce it? Is it Ken's Joy, the podcast, the Newlywed?
Ken's Joy, the Newlywed podcast.
All right, she got a lot more going on than that. Run down your social media right quick.
You can find me at Joy A Stokes, JoiASTOKES on social media, or You Bring Me Joy, the letter U, BRINGMEJOI.
All right, so we're gonna get into what she got going on, and as always, we're gonna get to some cereal. Sure. So, Joy, you know, we meet again, you know what I mean? So, like, I was preparing to do this interview one way, because we have a mutual friend in common, Mr.
Yes.
Ken Stokes, you know what I mean? AKA
Pretty
PK.
Ken, AKA PK.
But,
I was too.
it was so funny because the way I even came across y'all relationship is, I don't know how I was following you. I guess because of your link to photography, because
Yes.
we do the photography thing. But I'm just scrolling down my timeline one day, and I'm like my homie Pretty Ken proposing to something. I'm like, hold on, I don't even know who this person is or how I'm following them. But my homies proposing to them on IG, and I'm looking like, what's going on? You know what I mean? But that was my introduction to you. But tell us a little bit how you got into photography, or. We got so much. We got the invention. Where you want to get started at today? Like,
Well, I guess we get started photography because
Yes.
that's what, you know, started everything else, if we're being honest. My dad always had a camera in his hand when I was a kid, so I actually learned the photography part from him. And then I got older and I just kind of had a camera in my hand. He was like, hey, you got 24 prints, and make sure that you make them work, you know. And through college, moved here, picked up a camera again when I had my son, who is now 10, and was like, I wanted to give him a different lifestyle. So my parents worked, you know, my entire life, more than one job, still provided, and still made it to everything. So then that was the other part. So I just was like, gosh, it's just a different day and age now, where now you gotta ask people like, hey, can I take my son to this, or can I go to his doctor's appointment? And I just didn't want to be in that space. So I was like, let me pick up this camera and see what I can do with it. And 10 plus years later, you know, I'm still taking photos. I typically focus on corporate events because there's always 10 of them going on.
Right.
at the same exact time, throughout the country. And so then photography led me to the radio show Michael and Joy.
Okay.
And which is subsequently where I met Pretty Kim, aka PK, and then also subsequently how I invented joysticks. So.
Okay.
Cool. I want to dive back into something you just said. You came up on photography doing prints first.
Yes.
How was the transition from prints to digital?
I messed up.
Or did you prefer prints?
I still think that print is great, but no one's really printing anything out anymore, And the average person, to be honest, I don't think they even know what a good photo is supposed to look like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, me and you might look and be like, man, this photo is blurry. It's got all this noise. The ISO is off, and they're,
And the other person, like,
okay, well, I don't know. Are you into photography?
I am.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I look at photography.
Okay, so in
Usually
other words,
behind
you
the camera.
might not notice the noise that we would see. You know what I mean? Like as we zoom in and we're like, man, I can't give a corporate client this photo.
Right.
And so, it's just different now when you think about like printing back then. Like I said, I messed up. I still actually have rolls that I need to print out, to develop. My dad also had a print shop, so it was cool to see the process of going in there with the dark room and and printing out like flyers and stuff. I remember one time, it was a stack of 1,000 and we had this big paper cutter and he told me, don't put your hand underneath there. Here I go, put my hand underneath it. And I got all 10, but luckily he had a big ring on his finger, and when he stuck his hand underneath it, it caught on his ring.
Oh, you almost cut his finger off.
Yes. In the process of cutting mine off, I almost cut his off,
Lord.
So needless to say, it is a very big difference. Should I still be talking? Okay. It is a big difference from print to now digital because, you could take 1,000 photos, which a lot of times your clients want you to do. And you're like, I don't have time for all that, So it works out, I think, because if you mess up, you can look at it now and say, okay, that didn't work. Let me try again.
Right.
I don't know about you guys, but there's been plenty of times where my ISO was way too high. Now, had I done that whole photo shoot in print, it would have been a fail. But because I was able to look at it and be like, oh, okay, let me tone this down a little, it all worked out. But I still like the print option, and I still love seeing photos printed.
Right.
Going in homes and seeing pictures everywhere. I still love that. Like when I walked in here, I saw you guys had photos on the wall. I still love seeing it.
I want to get back into that. I just came off of vacation. That's why I'm running a little bit late. But I was taking a lot of pictures of my family, my dad, and I'm just like, man, I'm making it in my mind. Like, I'm gonna print some of these out. You know what I mean? Because like that's even like when people you think about some of our elders that passed away, some of the things they leave behind be those photo albums.
Yes.
It's
Oh,
like,
with the little sheet that
they never
last.
Like you don't even know. You
It
be
was
like,
super important to have the photo
Yes.
album
Yes.
when you
Like,
was growing up. Like I
you
used
can't
to
leave
show
your
my friends, like,
phone.
look at who my dad took pictures of.
Exactly.
And that means something.
And instead you would have your stack of books, and then you would have your stack of photo albums that would entertain everyone for like
Come
hours.
on.
This is your brother when he was smaller. This is your dad when
I
he
think
was.
the digital age might be killing that.
right.
Oh,
you
no,
can't share the cloud.
No,
Nobody
no,
even
Check
it's
the Instagram, son.
right.
It's definitely messed
Daddy
up a
was
few
lit.
things, but that's why I can appreciate when I walk in somewhere and I see them printed out.
Right.
I really love that. Which is funny because we just took some family photos, and I got my email the other day from Mixed Tiles saying that my photos should be on their way because I want to be able to show off, before and after, and I think that that's the only way, especially like you said, digitally. Like, what am I gonna do? Oh, by the way, go to my website as you walk in the house and let me show you all these people that I've taken photos of. It doesn't quite work like that.
So So the corporate events that you do, like, are they like super fun because you always drink and eat as well? And party with the folks.
I'm not drinking, and I'm not drinking now. I think that corporate events is cool for that aspect. I think that especially if you have some super cool clients, I just did, before all of this, I did a 3-day conference with a tech company called VDart. And at the beginning, it was like super corporate, and by the end of the night, they were having such a good time. And so it's literally it goes from night to day. It was a whole party scene, but that's what you're there to capture. They want to capture the candids. Most people are you could get 20 photos of a guy speaking on a mic, but then to see him later on partying or playing pool with some of his friends and everything or whatever, I think that it gives a good interpretation of, we're about our business, but we're also a fun company to work for, So like I said, I think that I fell into corporate because I also knew that with me having the tenure that I've had, that I could help put other people on. And so I've actually amassed over 30 photographers throughout the country that I could call and say, hey, Ivan, I've got a gig in Charlotte, are you free? Which isn't necessarily easy because coming out of college, a lot of people have a camera, but you can't necessarily make money with it just then, And so if I say, okay, well, I'll co-sign for you because I've seen your work, I know what you're capable of, now don't mess this up for us guys. You know what I mean? Which is why I said it's funny because I'll actually zoom in and be like, this photo is so noisy, But again, the average person doesn't know. So though I'm trying to teach them so that they'll be better, you can't have your ISO at 6400. You know what I mean? It's not gonna work like that, But again, it's a teaching moment, So
people like the auto, auto ain't gonna work.
Auto, everything. But the funny thing is that you really know if you're a good photographer once you switch to manual, But again, I was brought on by someone else to, start working for Rolling Out. And I felt like it was my due diligence to bring other people on. And of course, it just kind of makes sense, if someone's like, hey, Joy, we've got a gig in New York. I know I can't make it, but I know that a friend of mine that went to Hampton with me could shoot it. Why wouldn't I turn them on?
They ever book you to go somewhere real crazy? You never been out of the country or something like that?
I did go to Liberia for it was a missions trip, but they were creating a school on a certain amount of acreage. And so we were kind of taking photos of what it looked like so that the investors could come back and say, hey, this is how much money we want to give. And it was a very interesting trip because a lot of the kids, because of everything that Liberia had gone through with the war, they didn't know how old they were. They had no birth certificates. Some of them had no clue where their parents were, and so to come back, seeing them wash their clothes in the creek, and then on the other side, their cousin is jumping in it's a pool, it really humbles you because you're just sitting there thinking man, we don't have to worry about electricity at night. They had 40 different plugs in one electricity socket, and I was like, you know what? I don't need to charge my laptop. I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't want anything to go bad, but to go and experience that and then to come back, I told my son, I was like, okay, you don't play with this. And so everything that he didn't play with, whatever he didn't wear, we gave away, because we have so much, that we don't use, we don't need, and then there are so many people that do need it, So that was a humbling experience.
I want to talk a little bit about the joystick because I've been interested in this. We've been fumbling around with our phones and our iPads. Tell us a little bit about the joystick.
Oh, that's a fun tool. So so when we were on the radio, even before we had actually started, we always would have great guests, but I didn't want to hold my phone. So I was like, okay, Periscope had just come out. So I was sitting here thinking, okay, what can I do so that I don't have to hold my phone or look crazy trying to prop it up on my, my water bottle or whatever the case is. And obviously being a photographer, we all know about light stands. So I was just trying to figure out how could I elevate, because every invention started out as one thing and all it was an elevation to something else, which is the, the intellectual property. At one point it was a rock. Now I put believe on it and I can sell it for $8. You know what I'm saying? So needless to say, that's kind of how it started. I went home, I played around with some different things. At first it had a selfie stick on the top because, women, we know angles. We're like, you know what, I need you a little bit higher. Need you up here and not like right here. And so that's where it started. A lady asked where she could buy it from and I was like,
Really?
I said, hold up. Yeah. So you would buy that? And then I didn't want to sound like I didn't think that she would. So I was just like, oh, okay, well, hold up, give me a week. So I just went home. I got the domain name that day. I went home and just started figuring out, okay, where could I get more of these, and where could I buy, the attachments to hold the phone, and then evolved to putting a tablet piece of where the selfie stick went. And so now we have two versions. We have the 7 feet tall version, and then we have the Baby Joy or the Joystick Junior. And now I'm in everything cell phone. So I might as well sell everything cell phone. So we've got 3 different car clamps. We sell LED lights, battery packs. I mean, you can literally have like a one-stop shop. I mean, I went live the other day and I showed the small version, and I had a tablet, a phone, an LED light, and then another phone clamp holding a charging bank. So literally both devices could be charging while I'm going live, and I have enough light, and all for under $200, So when you think about like production, you want to find, especially now, we have to find a way to possibly do it ourselves, because one, as a startup business, we might not be able to afford to have all of this, or hire somebody to come in and do all this, and so I wanted to be able to give people the ability to create their own content on their own without anybody else, and then taking back control of that as well too, because you guys know that some videographers, if I record it for you, some of this part of this is mine, like, you know what I mean? Like, so
speaking on that, because I was waiting to delve into that, like, how important is the tag to give the photographer, videographer their credit? Like,
it's everything.
But they still need some credit, and especially if you didn't pay them. You need to go.
You need to go super hard. Like I need you to be talking about me every other day. Because truth be told, word of mouth is the best way to promote. So why not easily put a hashtag? Social media. Why not easily add an @? Like you don't.
That's the easiest thing in the world.
It doesn't take a lot, and that's why sometimes I tell people, I'm like, we're sitting here asking for people to support us. Okay, you don't have to necessarily buy a joystick, but share it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I did some photos for you or whatever, like share that I did the photos. Now, some people, if I'm a corporate event photographer, I don't really promote weddings, but I can do it. I might not necessarily need you to promote my wedding photography because I'm not trying to really attract that client. But what I've noticed is that's not normally the case. Normally that's not the case. Normally you just not promoting it or just mentioning who the videographer or the graphic artist or whoever helped in the production of it all. Like that matters.
People really do that. Like,
all day long.
Just don't give credit to the people that help them with they shit. Like,
all day long.
like I would not have a video without you. I would not have a picture without you.
All day long. And it's hurtful, you know what I mean, from the person doing the work, because it's like, well, did you not think highly of the work that I gave you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to just at me. And I've seen people where, like, because I'm a Cancer and because I'm a little sarcastic, you know, I'll go under and be like, oh, production by, you know what I mean? Like, or photo by.
I want to be that guy.
I'm about
I'll be
to say,
like, add
that
myself
guy.
on your stuff and like, you know I did it.
Or I'll just add my hashtag to the bottom of theirs. And I've actually seen people go back and be like, oh yeah, my bad. and then they edit
And
it.
it's all messed up. It's not going back in the system.
I was like, well, you know what? At least if they search the hashtag,
Right, they
it'll
can find it.
it'll eventually pop up. But it is tough, you know, because a lot of times, especially if people pay you, they're like, well, I paid you. I don't need to shout you out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's about the respect, though. It's a respect. People are gonna want to see. Oh wow, that's good work.
yeah.
Not just
You
calling.
you paid me and I did a good job.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
I was
yes,
up
yes,
at 3
yes.
o'clock in the morning
Right.
doing this. You know,
The part that you didn't know about.
the parts you didn't really pay for.
Right. Well, then you did something wrong. I'm about to
I
say,
had 2 more pictures for you. That you
I'm
didn't
about to
even
say,
request.
well, then you didn't
I
price
like
that
them.
right. You were supposed to add the additional hours
Right.
in your price,
Right.
which I
Exactly.
have noticed that, you know, for photographers and video and artists and creatives, a lot of times we're not asking for what we should be asking for. You know.
There's no set. It's so loose, and I come across it so saturated where it's like, well, my cousin will do it for 100. Like, all right.
Yeah, but they'll be
I can't
back.
argue with that.
They'll be back.
I can't argue.
I was
You
gonna
should
say.
definitely let your cousin
I was
do it.
gonna say right, and then they see what their cousin did, and they're like, you know what? I should have probably just paid what he asked for.
So how do you get to that point of like setting your price? Like when do you get to a point of like, this is how much I charge now, but then you get better and you realize your talents are getting better,
every
so you
6
raise your every 6 months.
Every 6 months, you should be raising your price.
Yeah, no, I'm not a photographer, but
Every
I'm
6
listening.
months,
I stopped paying
because
charge
for
on
me, every 6 months I'm growing. You know what I mean? Like, so from a coaching perspective, I took a 4-week class with Cornell online. So now I can charge more than I did before I took that class, because I was like really like in there studying and stuff and really taking tests and writing essays, and
Right.
I graduated from college in 01, so I'm sitting here thinking like, man, if I'm putting in all this work to get this certification, then I know that I know what I'm talking about. And even with photography, you know, like I still watch YouTube videos trying to become better as a photographer. I'm still in here trying to edit to see, oh man, I can make that man's stomach go away by doing this, you know? So at the end of the day, if you're working on your craft, then every 6 months you should be able to upcharge.
Yeah, I love
Say
this.
less.
I gotta get some back pay.
I'm about to say, yeah, I mean, that's what I truly believe, if you're working to be better.
I believe in your belief system. That's it. If y'all mad at me raising my prices, talk to her. She's not the
So you
management.
should have been 6 months ago, bro. That was 6
Right,
What's
you a
that
little
price?
late.
Like,
Every 6 months. I'm about to raise my price now. That's it.
all right, now I gotta get into the Ken and Joy show. Like, this is a thing right here, because I'll see y'all on the internet. I'm like all envious of y'all relationship because he's posted. Yeah, I hope you in love. Like, you know what I mean? Then y'all came on the show. Y'all talked about real stuff, though. Y'all were very vulnerable. Even invited the cameras to a counseling session. Like, I'm just like, you know. For some reason, like watching other people talk about their relationship kind of helps me get through my go-throughs a little
Yes,
bit.
yes,
So like,
yes,
I kind of
yes.
appreciate what y'all doing. But I guess talk a little bit. Talk about, because this is what I just found out.
Okay.
There's PK and then there's Ken.
Oh,
I just met this Ken person
Did you?
online. Like, I've been knowing PK for years. I know PK like the back of my hand, but this
there's
Ken
the guy
person.
that y'all don't know at all, who I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
But
Tell us a little bit about that.
so Ken wanted to come up with the Ken's Joy, the Newlywed podcast, because we started to see, or he started to see, how people were attracted to the vulnerability that we had when we would go online and we started, especially with the quarantine, we started doing these like cooking in the kitchen with the Stokes. I would be in there cooking breakfast, and then he would come in, and then the conversation would just go like all the way right or all the way left, and we would talk and about different things, and again be vulnerable and about our relationship, about his past, about my past. And we noticed that people were really like, this is dope. Like, I didn't think I could be that vulnerable with somebody, or it's amazing to see the transparency because we're going through it too, like, and so I feel as if one of the main things that we wanted people to see was that issues do arise, like we always see the glitz and the glamour and the good stuff, but we don't see the bad stuff or see that every problem, especially in relationships, to me, they can all be worked out, what I mean, with the right communication and the right understanding. I don't think that there is anything that can happen in a relationship unless it's a non-negotiable that y'all talked about before y'all got married, when somebody violates that. It probably can still be worked out. It just depends on how willing, both parties are to work through it. But PK, Pretty Ken, is definitely a different person than who I know him to be, because, I have this loving, supportive, husband who, like, for all intents and purposes, pushes me beyond limits that I feel like I'm even ready for, and it started with our friendship. He saw something in me that I probably was there and I just didn't know it or wasn't ready for it, because I remember telling him, I'm not ready for all of that, this is even before we were dating. We were just friends, but anybody who knows him to be a coach. Like, he's going to pull out whatever good you have in you. He's going to pull it out of you. Like, and he's going to make you your best self. There are times where I'm not ready for that. And there are times where I'm like, okay, let's go, coach. But the beautiful thing is that I know he is only trying to make me better. And so I feel like in relationships, if you're with someone who's like that, you're gonna have to understand that, it's gonna come with some good and it's gonna come with some bad, but just as long as you guys are willing to communicate through it, because it's bigger than love. Like, you can love somebody and still not want to work through it. I love Kim, but our goal is bigger for what we want as a marriage and as a family, and what we want to do, the legacy we want to leave in the world, So it's like, we know we love each other, but we're still friends. Like, we're best friends more than anything, and we check in with each other like, hey, am I messing up? You know what I'm saying? Am I falling short? Like, is there something that I need to work on? And vice versa, And I think that that's really, really important.
I was watching the show, I'm like, who is this mild-mannered? He's all like, you one-upped him a few times. I'm like, hold up.
You let her win arguments?
Who is this person?
Let her get a word?
A word? She was running the show. You crazy?
I know.
That's that Cancer energy.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful energy, though. I say it.
And it's funny because I met you in person for the first time. It was at a Blockzilla event, the movie thing.
Oh, okay.
And
Yes.
And I was just like,
I was taking, I was like, we were taking the photography.
And I was like, you PK wife? She was like, no, I'm Joy. Yes, I'm married to PK.
Yeah, I'm married to
motherfucker. Like, hold up, get my name right.
I'm full BK.
But you know what? Because a lot of times, and I don't think that I would, but a lot of times you could get lost behind that. I was just saying to one of my friends, when you think of that wait and exhale moment where she's going through the house, putting all his clothes in the car because she's mad because he's leaving, but she was like, I was your secretary for all these years, blah, 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 because she wasn't focused on herself. You know what I mean? She was so focused on helping him get everything he wanted accomplished, and then afterwards he leaves me for the secretary. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I still have to be who I am, and more importantly, Ken's not gonna allow me to just be Ken's wife. He's not gonna allow me to just be Pretty Ken's wife. Like, I tried that. You know what I mean? I tried that. He was like, okay, I'm gonna give you about 5 months of doing that, and then it's time to go. And you know, and I appreciate that because I know that there's so much that I need to do as a person, and I know that there's a lot that he needs to do, and there's a lot that we have to do together as a couple.
Do you think that has to, your friendship aspect has a strong impact on that? Because I feel like when you're a friend first, you guys are not gonna, I say, control each other and control each other's lives. You guys are able to have your own lives, because when you're a friend, you're not gonna try to be up under your friend 24/7. You're gonna try to have your own life. So do you think that friendship has a lot to do with that?
It does, but you know, the funny thing is me and Ken like being up under each other.
Right.
You know, like, so we both have the same love languages, you know, so as much as we're friends, you know, of course we have our own lives, and, you know, Ken does what he has to do to build his brand and to coach and to teach and everything, and the same with me. But as you can see with the podcast, we were trying to figure out a way to continue to bring stuff together, you know, because if we're working on goals together, then that's only going to make us stronger as a unit and as a family, you know. And so, yeah, for us, friendship was the only way we got to where we are, is because of how great we were as friends. Like, if we didn't have our friendship, we wouldn't have gotten married, because it wouldn't have made sense, you know. Like, Ken is literally like my best friend, you know, and it helps that my dad is a Virgo and he's a Virgo. So like literally like 8 days apart.
That's perfect.
You know, very, very similar to the nurturing that I needed from my father, you know, Ken gives to me. And some of it, you know, again, for me, is still because my father passed away. So I'm like, I'm not trying to find my dad in Ken.
That's in comfort.
But the comfort that Ken gives me, you know what I mean? Like, is the part that I can relate to so much, you know, like, regardless of how bad it gets. It's like, it's okay, baby. You know, and I think most women need that safe space, you know, and so we hide from it for such a long time. You know, we act tough, because he was like, man, you ain't tough.
That sounds like PK.
People out here thinking you tough. You ain't tough. You like the biggest. And I'm like, and I mean, truth be told, once you find the right person, then you don't have to be tough anymore. You know what I mean? Like, because I can be vulnerable and transparent and soft and let you be tough. You go be tough. I'm tired of being tough.
Right.
You can fight the battles now. I got your back.
I'm definitely looking forward to y'all getting back into that. I'm hoping post-baby we get to see what life is like in the Stokes household. You know what I mean?
Yes,
see him running around changing pampers.
We need that.
Changing diapers. He's gonna be having her. We're having a girl, and I send him videos sometimes of like the dads like going super hard on the daughters, like super young, like in the gym. Like with one little girl, she was like, you know, lifting up a dumbbell or whatever, and he was like, I don't think that's safe.
That's so good.
But it's so cute to see, because again, you know, we're a product of everything we learned. You know what I'm saying? So to see Ken as a father to his oldest two, I already know, which is the reason why we're pregnant now, is because of the fact that I already know what he's gonna be to our daughter. You know, and I was like, I want that.
Right.
I want some of that.
Shout out to daddy.
Dope. So we over here at Big Bowls. Pause, letting get into your cereal background. What's some of your all-time favorite cereal coming up, or even to this day?
So I liked Captain Crunch with the berries growing up, but I didn't like the yellow. The yellow piece.
It was like the all berries.
Yeah, so I'm all berries. So the fact that now they have all berries, there's literally like a box at the house. I used to walk around campus with a box of like Fruit Loops. I still love Frosted Flakes, which is so funny because we were talking about this earlier, but I still have Frosted Flakes at the house. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I think is
You
like
like
a
all the good
must.
ones.
Yeah. I mean, I love cereal. I'd eat it all day long. I think the other day I had some Raisin Bran with the little crunchy things added to it yeah. Whatever. Raisin Bran Crunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Raisin Bran Crunch
Because
now.
we gotta be serious
Take
about our
raisin.
fiber. See, but you know what? For me, it's like when I get that raisin, it's like I struck gold. It's like, you know what I mean? Because you gotta think, you gotta think you've been eating all these flakes, and then all of a sudden it's like you
chewy
just
piece.
get this. You know, you get this raisin or this cranberry, and you're like, yes, because they all sink to the bottom.
Can't do it.
So you really gotta like dig
so
down
upset.
there, you know what I mean? Like
I
to
don't
get
want
it.
nothing chewy inside my
thank
cereal.
you.
Oh, and your cereals.
Be all
I
in
need
your
crunch.
teeth.
I need all crunch.
No,
Straight crunch.
So no, I think
Extra.
I think as I've gotten older, like I've been okay with the raisins and the cranberries and stuff.
Right.
And then there was one that was super dope. It was a granola one, and they discontinued it. They used to just sell it at Publix. So you know I'm serious about my cereal when I go to Publix, and I'm looking specifically for it, and they stopped. I was so mad.
Kind of
So
like a kashi. You ever tried kashi?
Yeah, nah, it was so much. It was on such a better level than kashi.
Really?
Yeah, because it had fruit in it. It had your granola. It was almost like you could eat it by itself, similar
Right.
to like how kashi is. But I don't know
Trail
what they
mix
were
kinda.
thinking. Yeah. So I mean, I've had to grow up from the tricks but I still keep it in the house because.
Right.
You know,
Never
that
know.
don't, because at some point I'm gonna revert back to being a kid, and I'm gonna want
You just say
And read the
going
back
in
of
for a
the
bowl.
box.
Right.
All right, we're gonna see what we got this week on Big Balls Pause. Let me get a little drummer. What we going with? Wow, we way over here.
Where is it?
Oh, these look delicious.
Oh my goodness.
These
He
look
doesn't even know.
delicious. Bomb.
my goodness.
Oh, this is interesting.
Oh,
I did not mention this one, but I do love Lucky Charms.
Yes.
Charms is a good one.
Honey clovers. So this is gonna take it to a whole nother extreme.
Yes.
With honey.
Yeah.
It got honey
What?
clovers in it. I'm excited about
Made
this.
with real honey. I don't. Look, they turned the kibble into honey bits.
It might be
Right.
good. You know what?
Yeah, which
Might
for
be
people
good.
that didn't like Lucky Charms,
Right. 'Cause
it
now
just
this
had the
might.
dog food in it.
Yeah, now that's very
Kibble.
the filler.
Right.
Dog food.
Yeah,
The little brown things that you
Everything
get.
outside of the
Puppy
marshmallows
chow,
and
you
Lucky
the
ever-
Charms
actual
is typically
good part for us. The part that the actual
better
part that
get
has
the
the fiber in it.
cardboard.
Look like dry cat food. You never seen that?
The same exact thing, just without the honey.
Oh, I like
No, it don't
I
look like that.
like
It
that.
don't look like that.
No, they've always been clovers.
No, they ain't. Somebody pull up
Yes.
a Lucky Charm bottle. We got one up there.
No, they've
That's kibble.
they've always been clovers.
Yeah.
Man,
They
let
literally.
me pull up Lucky Charms.
You have to go look because I think they've always been clovers. Let me get that box top though.
They've always been clovers. I think they've always been clovers too.
Clovers.
You have to scan.
They've
the box
always
top.
been clovers.
They've always been clovers.
They've always been
What?
clovers.
That kibble part?
Yes. Come on.
They've
I'm
always
like
been
a
clovers.
Lucky Charm connoisseur. I know.
Ooh.
I don't know about this.
Yeah.
You want to do the honors?
No, go ahead.
Them ain't clovers. Them is shapes that,
that
don't
too
No,
make
it looks
shape.
like no. This probably actually isn't enough.
That's not a clover.
It's not a
That's
clover.
kibble.
Yeah.
Oh
I
no,
think it's
they
the
were
same.
different shapes.
Yeah,
They were
were
different
kibble.
shapes.
That's not even shapes. It's
'Cause one of them looks like
Kitty
a shield.
kibble.
right.
Kitty kibble.
They
That's one of
taste
those
good.
spoons. It looks delicious.
They definitely.
Oh, these
You
look
could,
golden.
They
you could
gold. This
definitely
is
like when you find
eat
a
it by
pot of
yourself.
gold.
Right, this is what they should have done the whole time.
That is the pot of gold.
This is they finally
He found
caught
it.
him.
He found
They
it.
caught him.
He found it. He's at the other side of the rainbow with
is
this
it.
I'm trying to
one.
think what it tastes like.
We got 2%. We got almond.
Oh yeah, let me get
Whatever
that blue
floats your
top.
bowl. Blue top.
She a real one. I see why I can't picture.
This is it.
He hates to be the only milk drinker up here, so he likes to talk bad.
Oh
about
yeah,
us.
I'm definitely nothing wrong with my lactose. We good.
You know what I'm talking about?
Now, when you guys eat cereal, are y'all to the point where you keep adding cereal till the milk is all gone?
Yeah, it depends how good it is. You
Right.
know, if you got a whole bunch of milk left, you over pour it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It depends how full I am.
Then sometimes your ratio is off, so you pour too much and you gotta pour a little bit more milk again. Like your bowl never ends.
You're right. I like to pour less milk so to keep from getting soggy. I feel like I always add a little more milk. I don't know.
My
So what
cereal
is
needs
this?
to
Is
float.
this just like a eat it on your own? You don't
Yeah,
have to. Okay.
have a bite. We're gonna get to some questions while we eat. Have a bite, see what it's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just
Yeah, they did
use
that.
the regular version.
They
Just
did
do
that.
these.
Yeah.
It's the honey for me. It's the honey with the
Like honeycombs
marshmallow.
with marshmallows.
It's hitting.
Yeah, this is actually really good.
Oh my.
I'm down with it.
Honeycombs with marshmallows.
That's the only time you're gonna hear me say I'm down with the rainbow right now.
Cut it out.
Y'all know me. I always been down with the rainbow.
Hello.
Baby, we know.
Okay.
We know.
I'm on to say about that podcast. Oh,
Yeah, this is
All right,
it.
we got a little get to know you section while we eat. What's your favorite meal of the day? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
probably dinner.
Is it the type of food or the time of day?
You know, truth be told, like I'll eat dinner at breakfast. So I can't really answer that question truthfully.
Like type of food, probably like steak,
Um,
potatoes.
Yeah,
like,
so maybe,
leftovers.
I mean, like cold, hot, it don't even matter. It can't be like, yo, the food is cold. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just, it's substance. You know what I'm eating.
Right.
I'm done eating it anyway.
What's your favorite time of the day to eat cereal?
Either breakfast or late night.
More of a late night bowl person, like feel
Technically
like
the
making a
same
mess.
thing, right?
Late night, early morning, between like 2 and 8.
Oh, wow.
All right. If you could have a bowl of cereal with anybody, dead or alive, cereal and conversation, who you having a bowl with?
My dad.
What kind of cereal you think Pop's gonna have you eat?
Oh, the regular cornflakes.
With the sugar.
I want some sugar though, you know what I mean?
My dad would put the sugar in the milk, then pour the cornflakes.
The sugar
It was
milk.
like, it was perfect. I was like, yo, this is like really
I never
smart.
knew how you were supposed to do
Our
it.
homie B
That's
told
our
us
art.
about that sugar milk. You stir it up.
Sugar
I was on
milk.
the top trying to mix it in. Like, yeah.
I was like, that way you know you got the right amount of sweetness, excuse me.
All right, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. When making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, do you prefer a spoon or a butter knife?
To make the sandwich, a butter knife. A spoon.
That shit.
Where does that even come into play?
What you mean? When you scoop, you scoop?
There's something wrong with him.
You scoop?
Yeah,
The
no.
scoopability.
That's what you do?
Yes,
But why are you
absolutely.
scooping?
You got jelly, first of all. You don't have to pick up the jelly to get it out with the knife.
So you're gonna scoop it and you're gonna have to.
Yeah,
No,
with
no,
your finger.
no. No,
Cause you're
no.
Pop
scooping
it
it.
off.
No, no. Scoop?
Or get another utensil
You
to scoop it off.
scoop.
2 spoons.
Is it a fight?
That's not that serious.
It's not a
Then you
scoop and
gotta
a
rub
poop.
them in
It's not a scoop and a poop.
It is scooping.
It's not a scoop and a poop.
It ain't.
It's too thick to be a scoop and a poop. You gotta drop that hoe. That's
And then you gotta rub them around.
that is so disrespectful.
You just wasted 2 dishes.
I know.
You gotta flip them over.
Two
First of all, you just use
dishes.
the corner
And
of
then
the
how you
bread.
cut it.
When in first place, all you were supposed to have one knife and a
What is-
paper towel.
What is the corner of the bread gonna do? Like, I'm
You
lost.
scoop it.
What is the, no, he said
bread.
something about the corner of the bread. Like, what does the corner of the bread do?
That's to help
get
scoop.
everything off.
That's to help scoop it
Oh,
off.
to
The,
get,
They
to
get everything off.
no,
So now your bread
That's
all
so
lopsided.
much
You gotta
work.
use the ends
That's
to scoop
so
the spoon.
much
We
work.
got a video coming soon, man. You
for
just
an easy
Your bread
meal.
all falling apart.
That's
you
a
don't use it to
struggle
scoop the
meal.
spoon.
That is-
And you're trying to struggle while making a struggle meal? I don't need that much
You might
struggle
as
in
well
my
start eating
life.
your cereal with a fork. Like,
That's
That's how you save the
disrespectful.
milk. The free game. That's how you keep the milk going. You
yeah,
eat your
you-
cereal with a fork.
put that milk right back in
Anyway,
the container afterwards.
cereal milk. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
I'm still just trying to understand where the spoon came from.
sauce.
You don't have to understand it because it makes no sense, and he needs to be canceled for it.
Nowadays they have the jelly that you don't even have to scoop out. You're just squeezing it out.
The squeeze jelly. We're so 2020 now. The squeeze jelly been around, but
Squeeze it. Man. Just squeeze
I was contemplating the peanut butter and jelly in the same jar.
Yeah,
That's nasty.
That's freaky right
That's
there.
disgusting.
How they know how much I need?
I don't want my peanut butter in the fridge.
Really?
That too.
You want it cold?
I don't
Peanut
want
butter?
it in the fridge.
Yeah, you would have to make a sacrifice.
Oh,
Either the
okay.
jelly's gonna be hot or the peanut butter's
I
gonna
don't
be
want my
cold.
jelly hot.
Oh.
It needs to be separate.
All right, speaking of fridge, do you keep ketchup and other condiments in the refrigerator or the cabinet?
They're all in the refrigerator.
As they should be.
Smart woman. She's a smart
As
woman.
they should be.
I also stopped putting the cereal on top of the refrigerator.
I haven't elevated
I
that.
didn't say anything was wrong with it. I'm just saying. I mean, I elevated.
I haven't elevated
You probably got a whole drawer, a cabinet for the cereal now. Like,
they're
this shit ain't
actually-
supposed to go on top of the
They're actually in
refrigerator.
plastic containers.
Look, black families.
I've turned into that mom.
Stop using
Right.
the top of the refrigerator.
My
storage.
pantry not big enough. I'm gonna keep it on the fridge.
I
keep
got
it there.
falling off my refrigerator. Find the space.
If you get hit in the head, that's what you eating today. That's
Like, but
it.
then they get stuck. Like, what about the good one that gets like that somebody pushes to the back and
Should
you
never
forget
push
it's
the
back?
good to the back.
No, I had a brother growing up. Like he
Yeah.
would push the stuff to the back,
He's
so
trying to
then
hide
I
it.
wouldn't know that it was back there.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
See.
That's rude.
I grew up
That's rude.
by myself.
Oh no, that's
My
siblings.
sister's 17 years older than me, so
Oh yeah.
I didn't have that problem. I just,
You got whatever you wanted.
listen, if I want 3, I'm gonna put 3 in there. My brother ain't gonna hide nothing from me.
I send Ken photos of pantries, like organized pantries, and he's like, you know, there are women that send photos of red bottoms, handbags, you know, like you are literally sending me a photo of. That's probably why he stopped checking his DM. He's like, you know what, Joy, like I don't need to see any more pantries, but like I'm really like anal, and I think I'm starting to recognize it. I think I'm starting to get anal about the organization. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can literally see when something is out of place, and I'm like, okay, that lets me know that I need to order more granola bars. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have enough honey buns. Like, I need to know this. Like, I'm trying to run a straight household here.
So it's not cleanliness, it's about inventory.
Right.
Both. You know,
That's
because
it.
clutter, like, you know, messes up stuff.
Right.
You know, like for people. You
Peace of
know?
mind too.
Yeah. So,
All right, what's your favorite corner store snack?
Funyuns. Is that?
That's
is that
yes.
right? Okay.
Funyuns from the
I was
corner
gonna
store?
say, yeah. And we fight over the Funyuns. Cause it's like I didn't think that he would really like them.
Right.
And then I'd be like,
Did you put them on?
Kind of like the
no.
Samoa store, right? I
The
was just-
Samoas. No. He probably has always been a Funyuns person, but I was
Right.
like, man, you know, when we go to the store, that's not what he's buying. He's buying like the M&Ms in the yellow pack. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, so we good. So when
Right.
I bring
As soon as you crack your joints.
I'm like, so we good, and then I'd be like, dang, baby, what you just eat? It's either the red Doritos or the Funyuns. I'm like, he loves those. The red Doritos.
It's a fight if it's the blue one. It's a fight if it's the blue one.
All right, cool. I like to ask people this. Do you think social media is killing relationships or does it help build relationships?
Depends on who you with.
We could talk, I mean, it can be business or personal. Like,
Yeah, I think it depends on who you're with, and it depends on the level of communication. You know, it depends on when I say depends on who you're with, as far as like maturity, as far as self-esteem. You know, like, and then even in your relationship, if I know that you're a words of affirmation, you know, guy. And I haven't been affirming you lately, but now you got Becky on the gram. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, man, you look nice today. You know what I'm saying? Just like the secretary at work, you know what I mean? Like, or anybody. Then at the end of the day, that's something that they get excited about. You know what I'm saying? And even though it might not even be anything,
Right.
it could turn into, you know, something or whatever, which is the reason why we make sure that we check in because I don't want to be falling off, and I don't want him, and he doesn't want to fall off. So it's like, hey,
You've been giving me a little too many compliments.
I was gonna say, like, so is there something that I'm missing, you know? But I definitely feel like it depends on just the person that you're with, because it should be a tool to be social, you know, but at the same time, it's gotten to the point where I feel like people are taking advantage, you know, of it. And again, it can be detrimental if you didn't choose right.
Right. Dope. All right, let me see them Lucky Charms.
I know I was about to say my marshmallows is gone. Like these little gold things was cute and all.
It says gather the gold. That's
I was
the gold.
about to say,
I'm
yeah,
they
got it.
found
it's gonna
the
keep
gold.
gathering.
It's finally the gold.
All right, so
But
we
that
have
was
a.
good. I think I could
I'm gonna buy me
A-okay
some of
that.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, we
And
got
it tastes
a,
good with the almond milk too.
we got a 0 to 5 bowl rating system. Half a bowl, anything in between. What do you rate Lucky Charms, Honey Clovers?
I'm about to say, are they paying you for that? Next, right?
Hello.
It's our manager.
Tell me
I'm
your
about to say,
manager.
a couple of big bowls. We pause. We need some sponsorships for this.
Put it out there.
I'm about to say, who is that?
That's
General
my love
Mills?
language, man. Sponsorship.
Sponsorship.
Yes, I'm like, we eating all General Mills cereal
Give
from
us
here
joy.
on out.
Right.
That's it.
And young guys start tackling these careers.
You better speak it into existence.
I would. What did you say? 1
0
to
to
5?
5.
0 to 5. 0 to 5. Probably about a 4. I mean, I'm a Lucky Charms person anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so it's funny when I go visit my brother in California. He's like, okay, make sure we have Lucky Charms.
Right. Dope.
But I definitely think the honey kind of like gave it that extra like. Definitely took it away from being kibbles.
I'm trying to tell you.
Light years from that. London Bridges, what do you think about Lucky Charms? What do you rate them?
That's a 5.
Oh, 5.
That's 5 for me. 'Cause I never really,
A five piece.
I like Lucky Charms, but it's not my favorite. It was not my top 5. You know what I mean?
Right.
This right here,
With the honey.
they changed the game with this
With
one.
the honey though.
This shit right here,
This right here, you already know it's
they
a 5.
changed the game with this one. I will
Somebody's
pick
like,
this
yo,
up.
we're tired of chasing
This
guy.
is in my top 5 now.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello,
wow.
General
It's in my
Mills.
top
See,
five.
just another reason why General Mills needs to
Hello.
holler at y'all.
Hello. We sell a lot of boxes of cereal over here. Somebody need to talk
I'm
to.
about to say,
Post don't fuck with us.
Post be sending us stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
gotta
come
get
on,
it
General
together.
Mills, get in the game.
I'm about to say, oh,
Danny
look, that's
Digital.
a good. That was a good ad.
Danny Digital, what you thinking, son?
All right, man. Lucky Charms.
Hate Lucky Charms
I
a little.
hate Lucky Charms. I'm gonna give Lucky Charms a 0.
Oh wow.
These?
But these, I will give a 2.
That's
I'll eat
good.
2 bowls because I don't even like Lucky Charms. I don't like none of these these flavors. But these
He
honeys
said
are
the
good.
flavors, the marshmallows,
The marshmallows,
have no
yeah.
flavors.
Yeah, they
just-
taste like marshmallows.
They just
But they're pretty good. Lucky Charms got the best
They
marshmallows
do have
in
the
the
best
cereal
marshmallows.
game.
But you
Come
do
on.
see what are the oh yeah, the pot of gold.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
honey
if I could
clovers.
accept the 2, man. You
That honey
sure
clover
2 is your
is
final
Inside
answer?
the pot of gold.
That honey clove, look how he holding that thing
Like,
up. Like
look at
this
this.
is
It's like
Look at the-
the kids was chasing him for years. I didn't like him. He never let the kids have the cereal. He ran.
because 2020 is the year, regardless
And
of what
now
anybody
it's
says,
like-
it's it.
Yeah, you know.
He's
that.
finally letting us
He
have some
did
of the gold.
it. He did it.
What's up?
So you're only sticking with 2.
Yeah, I'm sticking with
With
2.
a 2.
I'm not gonna buy that. I'm sorry.
I mean, you know, he said 0.
Yeah,
He
regular
just
Lucky
started
Charms
zero.
he hates. So 2 is kind of like
big.
a 4 for a real person.
For a regular person.
Right. I kind of agree, my boy. Yeah. I'd
didn't
eat
pour
these
it twice.
again.
I didn't pour it twice.
I'd eat these again, but I'm gonna knock them just a little bit. I'm gonna go 3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
Wow.
That's a solid B.
Solid. Lucky Charms, they new. Try them out. Let us know what you guys are thinking. You know, Lucky Charms, Honey Clovers, they're pretty dope. You know what I mean? I think our guests were coming through and eating cereal with us again, Miss Joy Stokes. You know what I mean? Make sure you guys are checking for that
Thank
podcast. Make sure you guys are following on social media. Make sure you guys go and support that joystick. You know what I mean? I'm definitely about to order one. You know what I mean? Because I need some. We supposed to be going live right now. I be forgetting. You know what I mean? Everything's throwed off a little bit, but we here. We back. And so make sure you guys are following that
Thank you
and
so
following
much.
us on Big Bow's Pause. And we out here, man. See you guys here next week.
and
Peace.